Hello and welcome to Kerbal. Today we're we're doing more plane reviews, starting with the bomber Big Bertha, which has the funniest cockpit on the front that I've ever seen. You know, you could have used this. I mean, I get okay. I guess it has better visibility. But yeah, that's a strange cockpit choice, and this was created by one CT Jet 99. He says it can fly halfway around the world and 1300 meters per second at 20 kilometers, 100 meters per second at sea level. Really, that seems kind of slow. And it can destroy the VAB with the bomb it carries. Yes, it is a bomber. So let's see what the bomb is made of. Is this full of fuel? Of course it is. And is it just this one little thing? Oh, that's cool. It actually has like a little proper model of a bomb. That is cool. All right, no description there. I imagine it has an action group, but I don't know what it is. No, it does not. Well then, for the purposes of this, I will set one. Ooh, that made a that made a noise when it loaded. All right. Well, I think the very first thing we need to do is test. Ooh, that is nice. Hearing all those engines warming up. That sounds so nice. Yes, so I think the first thing we need to do to test this is well, see if it really only goes 100 meters per second at sea level. It's already going much faster than that. I'm beginning to wonder if this was created before the... No, this wasn't created before the new aerodynamics, was it? No, it's not that old. No, it can't be. It shouldn't be. Yes, well, it's definitely going a lot faster than he said it does. I don't know why he didn't have it going as fast. And, let's see. It pitches very slowly. I'm also opening the bay again very slowly. And I'm going to try and... Well, actually, let's cut the throttle down because this thing's going way too fast. But I'm going to try and bomb the SPH. Oh, it has little, whatchamacallit, Sepatrons to boost the bomb out of the bay. We're going to try and hit the VAB with this bomb to test that it actually will destroy the VAB. Also, let's see. Oh, for some reason that wasn't working. Okay, do we have air brakes on board? Yes, we do, in the form of spoilers, it looks like. No? Yes? Okay, that's really weird. This one flap is responding to B. The other one on the other side is not. I get the feeling that somehow this craft file was screwed up, which would be unfortunate. But in any case... Oh, you know what? This is definitely made before 1.0.5, I'm guessing, based on the fact that this is clipping into the other thing when you could have set a deploy limit to keep that from happening. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do that real fast. It's still not. It's still clipping a little bit, but I don't care too much. Anyhow, we need to go even slower than this. And I'm not sure at what angle the bomb will deploy. So I hope I get this right. Going pretty fast. Alright, I think right about here will be good. Unless it drops itself too far down too quickly because of those boosters. Oh, it still hit the VAB. But it did not destroy it. So unfortunately, I have to say that claim is false. At least dropping it like that. Maybe in a swan dive, it would swan dive? Is that a real term? I don't know. maybe in a dive it would have performed better. And maybe if he was measuring how fast it could go at sea level by boosting straight up and down, maybe that would explain it. Because we're boosting, well, we're falling quite a bit now, but. Boosting straight up and down, we were able to get some pretty good speeds. Yeah, I think this thing has too many engines. But other than that, looks really nice. Pretty stable. I just turned off the SAS to see how well it would fly without SAS, and it's pretty darn stable. Kind of don't like the fuel lines and struts everywhere, but I can see why that's kind of necessary. Maybe, you know, KSP physics, maybe it doesn't hold together too well without that. And the fuel line, well... I don't know why you'd need the fuel line. I don't think you do need the fuel line. I guess, do these giant wings not transfer fuel? No, they certainly should. So I don't know why you have the fuel lines on here. They should be completely unnecessary. But anyhow, right now, I'm just going to go ahead and, since he said this goes really fast at a high altitude, I'm just going to go ahead and get us... Well, let's go ahead and activate SAS again. And I'm going to get us to a high altitude. I forgot that they took off intake air off of the resources list. That's slightly annoying. I wish there was like just a button where I could say toggle all resources and it would just show up again. But no, they're like, no, go to the engine and right click. Or was it go to the intake and right click to see what your fuel flow is? There you go. Effective airspeed. I wonder if that's just like the actual speed, or if there's some calculation that makes it possibly slightly less. In any case, we're burning pretty hot. You can't even see the flames in here. Oh, you can see a little bit out the side windows. Warning, volatile chemicals inside. Open panel, best tricorder, sportsmanship, landed, disassembly. Unplanned, spontaneously unplanned disassembly. May trigger. Opening panels may trigger spontaneous unplanned disassembly. Okay, that's what it was saying. And yeah, I'd say that thing can definitely get to those high speeds, very high up, considering we're not going as fast, but we're higher up, and that's because I've basically done a, what do they call it, where you go up zoom climb, where you go higher than the operating ceiling of the plane by climbing up very quickly, and then you kind of glide around, because like right now I don't have enough air for the engines, and we're still burning. But yes, that is the bomber Big Bertha, which has used a quarter of its fuel getting to here, probably because I had it throttled up more than necessary. So you could probably fly it a lot more efficiently, but yeah, that's that one. So this one I'm not looking at it just yet, because I want to read you what Matt Soup said about it. A stock aircraft that's shaped like, you guessed it, a box. The craft has Z-fighting, part clipping, short flight time, terrible maneuvering, and no practical use. In essence, it is Kerbal engineering at its finest. So yes, someone literally sent me a box to fly. So I guess we're gonna fly. Guess we're gonna fly a box. Yeah, because that seems reasonable. Okay, here we are, launching the box. And come on, get up into the air. Am I supposed to use RCS? I'm going to turn RCS off. I can fly it without RCS. I'm guessing that's just, the control wheel in there. But I'm guessing it's supposed to be flown with RCS. Oh, gosh. Why, KSP Physics? Why do you literally let me fly a box? Like, here's the thing. This could make sense if I was, like, thrusting at a sufficient angle to where I was basically flying based on the thrust alone. But the thing is, I'm flying based off of actual, like, lift calculated, which is basically impossible. I mean, it's a box, but KSP Physics, folks. KSP Physics. Doesn't fly very well. I mean, that was a given. But there's another version of this he sent in, so let's take a look at that. And the difference, oh, okay, I was going to say, and the difference with this one is that it apparently has a special surprise inside, or at least I thought it was inside. Maybe the surprise is just in the decorative lighting and the little bow wrapped around it. I'm going to go ahead and take a sneak peek inside. And yeah, it's the same thing inside. It was just, okay, it's a little bit of decorative lighting and a bow on the outside. So, not much else to say about that. Next up, by Darius, we have the Chengdu J-10 Vigorous Dragon, or Firebird. It's a Chinese multi-role combat aircraft configured with delta wings, there you go, canards, there, and fly-by-wire, aka SAS. So for BD Armory combat, you can replace the nose cone with a BD Armory radome. Yes, that's the trick I've been doing too. I love building fighters using these two parts because they're so close to being like the same mass and the same size as the BD Armory. Here, let me go ahead and pull it up. There you go. It's very, very, I can't like properly demonstrate it because KSP Physics do the things the way they do. I'll just take it off for a moment and I'll put it on and you can see that they're basically like the same thing. There you go. See? Okay, undoing that bullshit. Let's continue on taking a look at this. Wow, I really like the way you've used these NCS adapters to have the smoothness of the hull. Let's see, there's a picture of the real thing that I'm looking at now, and it has that same kind of weird dip in the hull. And I'm guessing, is there a part about this that said what's the term I'm looking for? When you go faster than the speed of sound. Super cruise? No. Mach? Well, yeah, but no. There's like wasn't there a term that was like super something? Not super maneuverability. That's a completely different concept. But yeah, for some reason. Oh, are these disabled? They better be. Yeah. Okay, because there's a picture here of the real thing and this next to it, and oh, hey, you're doing a Panther with a whatchamacallit, with a basic inside of it. That I have not tried doing something like that. I bet that looks cool, and I bet that adds quite a bit, well, not quite a bit, but a decent amount of extra thrust to make it fly a bit better. I very much like the way you did the smoothness on this. It's very smooth, and it looks very, very nice. I hope it flies well. It probably flies well. Let's go ahead and try it out. Alright, so an interesting statistic? No, an interesting thing about this craft. Ah, okay, those are the flaps. I noticed that it says it has flaps, because I'm looking at the Kerbal X page for it, which, by the way, I've noticed people have started using Kerbal X to send things in, and I'm so happy that you guys are doing that. Thank you. It makes it easier. And there we go, the flaps, although I don't think they were really needed with how easily this got off the ground. And 5 for the afterburner, so we can go faster. And yeah, it flies pretty well. I just noticed, you know, I realized what those bits on the rear made me think of. They make me think of the F-16 a little bit. Like this seems like it's slightly inspired by the F-16, but like putting canards up front instead of control surfaces on the tail. Like it is a bit like an F-16, a bit. You know, it's a bit different too, but very nice. So anyhow, yeah, max dynamic pressure, no. Smooth curvature, that's kind of related, but no. So the thing that I was trying to think of with why this is shaped like this, there's a reason for that, and it has to do with pressure at very high speeds. When you go into above the speed of sound, it's something about like you want to maintain the ratio of like surface area or like drag on the front. It's like something to do with surface area. I forget what the terminology is for it, but essentially what you want to do is like where you have the fuselage split out into the wing, you want to have the fuselage retract in a little bit, and something about that, it's like you want to have a smooth flow of how much surface area there is from front to back. So if you have an area where the wings are like dramatically going out, you want to have the fuselage curve in a little bit, and that way the total surface area as you go from front to back just kind of smoothly increases at the same rate. So you can see it dips back a bit as the wings go out, and then it comes back out a bit as you go even further back. And like I said, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was reading about aerodynamics, and there's this principle that you do that and it makes it work better at super high speeds. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact reasoning or whatever, but it's interesting. And and I noticed that, like, that it had that capability, that, or rather, not so much that it had that capability, but that it had that design aspect in it. And I'm gonna have to start doing some tail fins like this, because I really like the way you've done this tail fin. Let me guess. Yeah, it's like a regular, whatchamacallit, I don't know what that part's called off the top of my head, but it's like it's very cool the way the tail fin, it looks very nice. It looks a lot like the real thing. And I'm going to have to steal that technique for how you made that tail fin for, I don't know what, but, you know, for something, because that worked quite well. I think I might, nah, it's not quite the right shape for an FA-18. I was going to say, I might, like, try updating my FA-18 with that. I thought I was going to crash into the VAB there. That's why my voice changed a little bit there. But I very much like how clipping the Weasley engine into this Panther actually looks pretty good. Like, it doesn't look too clippy. Like, you can tell a little bit that it's clippy when you're doing these maneuvers, but not that much. And you can only tell if you're, like, looking really close from the rear like that. But on the sides and stuff, it just looks like a normal engine. Very cool. And it's a joy to fly. You know, it's not super maneuverable, but, you know, it's not a super maneuverable plane, so what do you expect? And so that's about all I have to say about this one. Yes, very nice. Next up, by Volapong, we have the Little Raptor, which is based off of an F-22 Raptor, obviously, and I like it. I immediately like it. It's very much, I think, captures the correct shape of an F-22. Of course, this is not the stealthiest. It's really funny. They put down, oh, it's in the email. I'm looking at the Kerbal X page now, not the email, but they put down how, oh yes, it's like an F-22 but not stealthy, and because it has pylons on it and everything is external. So I like how they've kind of tried to do, it's not quite right for the internal bay of an F-22. I think the internal bay is a bit different, but they basically tried to do like the same arrangement, having sidewinders on the side and AMRAMs underneath, as the internal bays on an F-22. It's just external because KSP doesn't really have a bay that works for that. I mean, even their, you know, they do have, I don't remember where they are. They're like, nope, that's not it. These things. They have these Mark II cargo bays, but they're like the wrong shape. Well, not quite the wrong shape. They're slightly the wrong shape. They don't have a side bay, and they're too narrow to what's the word for short length? I don't remember. That you can't put a missile in this space. But I like what you've done with having them on the outside. By the way, this reminds me, I wanted to mention, so using that Mark 22 cockpit that I fell in love with from Bahamuto, where is it? It's this one. Using this Raptor cockpit, I have made a F-22 analog that I call the GI-22 because it's not really an F-22. It's, I forget exactly how it's wrong, but it's wrong in a couple of ways, so I decided to just call it that. And I don't know when I'll be putting the video on that out, but yes, that's a thing. And so if you don't mind, I'm going to compare this to that. Not really, because I don't remember what my own thing looks like, but anyhow, just wanted to mention that I have a thing that's similar. Very nice. Alright, let's go ahead and give it a fly. Alright. So, I'm trying to think of anything to criticize about this as I go off and fly it. And I can't think of anything. Is this like 3 chaff and then... No, it's... Okay, so it's 4 chaff and 2 flares on each side. That's interesting. I wonder what that looks like when it's fired. That's switching weapons. Okay. That's firing flares. Ooh, that's pretty. And that's firing chaff, which fires a whole bunch of chaff. There's the afterburners on 4. 5 doesn't appear to do anything. 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Okay, so we're now going very fast. Let's pull up. And this has the performance I would expect it to have. Very nice. Definitely an F-22. Definitely just did something that you shouldn't do. I remember one of his warnings about this is, no, actually, sorry, I'm confusing this with the last one. The last one, he had a warning. Don't stall at low altitudes. I mean, that's kind of a general warning. Like, really, it applies to everything. But I very much like how you used wing pieces to make the fuselage instead of just using the Mark II fuselage like I did. Like, you didn't take the lazy approach to this. You realized that you could have, you realized that it was possible to shape these just right to get that, like, perfect cone, not cone, it's not a cone, I don't know, this angular design that the F-22 has. I noticed I was just about to crash in the water just after it was too late. Anyhow, this time around, I'm gonna fly it without engaging the afterburners just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and also just fire these randomly, because why not? Very nice. Very nice. What was it? 5? No, 4 to engage the afterburners. Okay. And what are we? You're firing the gun now. For a moment, I almost got this confused with the F-35, and I was about to say, but it doesn't have a gun. But then I remembered it's an F-22. Silly me. That's what they get for making planes that are fairly similar in look. Fairly similar. Not a lot similar. But, oh yes, the super maneuverability on this, oh, I definitely know what I'm doing with this plane. Unfortunately, I've already started the first series of a thing called Air Combat League that I've done. You'll see a video on that sometime very soon. Yeah, I already, like, planned out the first, like, 29 fights of that and, like, the fighters that I'm going to use. But this is definitely going into that for the next time around after I do these first 29 fights. Yeah, like I said, you'll see more about that in another video, but I can't think of anything negative to say about it. Like, this person, when they emailed me, they were specifically like, hey, I like how, you know, you point out negatives and positives, and you know what? I just found something to complain about. I was going to say, but I can't find anything to complain about. Other than this clipping bit, which, you know, I'm always like, clipping. But other than that, oh, that's interesting. I just noticed I'm pulling up so I don't crash into the ground again. Oh, okay, that's slightly... If it were me, I would take this... See how the intake and the fuselage sticks out the bottom ever so slightly? I'm not sure, but it looks like it's possible to move the intake and that fuselage up so that it's clipping into the top internally, and you won't see it sticking out the top, and you won't see it sticking out the bottom. Because right now it's sticking out of the bottom and the top, and it leads to this slightly ugly clipping here, And it also, hold on, let me lose some of the speed so you can see better. It leads to this slightly ugly clipping here, and then also the fact that you just have this extra bit sticking out here that takes away from the sharp angles that this thing has. And the other thing I was going to mention, which unfortunately is just due to the way stock landing gear is that these landing gear are like sticking out in a weird way. And I imagine if you used adjustable landing gear, that would work really well right there. But again, that requires a mod. I mean, I don't know how you feel about mods. If you feel anything like I do, well, you'd use them anyhow because adjustable landing gear are awesome and are just the better thing to do because, you know, they really should be stock. The adjustable landing gear mod is like one of those things where I'd say that's like essential, at least if you're going to do like fighters or, well, heck, not even fighters, but, you know, a lot of planes in KSP, because anything involving planes, the stock landing gear are not really cut out for it. Anyhow, that's all I have to say about that. Except, don't die. Okay, good. It took that beautifully. I was wondering if it was gonna freak out or, you know, die or something, but it handled it very nicely. I'm gonna do a little bit of screwing around with super maneuverability here by just flipping in place and doing some crazy stunts. Very nice, very controllable. And last but not least, also from... what the hell is that? That was a weird glitch. Yes, also last from Volapong, this is the Empress SF-27, which is based off of, what's it called? Well, probably the same thing. Oh no, the I almost said R and then realized I need to say F. The VF-27 Lucifer from Macross Frontier, which might explain why it looked vaguely familiar to me. I know a little bit about Macross, but not very much, and this just, it caught my eye as something a little bit interesting, and I noticed it has a bit of an F-22 in the middle here. This, whatchamacallit, the same arrangement of wing structure, and let me guess, the same intake, and yeah, you started with the F-22 and then modified it to make this thing, which is interesting. Interesting. Yeah, so I like how the engine placement is slightly different. Like, at first when I started to look at this and I noticed that it was based off of the same initial shape, at least this part right here, I thought for a moment you were lazy with it and just kind of had the same basic shape but extended it on the sides, but no, it's not really lazy. It's the same core, but everything else about it is different. Oh, there's guns in the tip of these. Yeah, it's unfortunate that there isn't a gun that really works well in this kind of spot. Like, I kind of wish BD would, Bahamuto would make kind of a gun that doesn't have this housing around it, so that you could place it internally how you wanted, the way you've done with these. That'd be interesting. Then again, BD Armory does allow you to make your own things, so maybe someone will do that. Is this active? Good, it's not. Sorry, my problems with clippiness says that this shouldn't be active because it's clipped through there, and I can ignore it being clipped through there as long as it's not moving around. I'm strange when it comes to that stuff. This thing has a massive thrust to weight ratio. I mean, it's kind of obvious, and he says so as well. Oh look, description. The other one probably had a description there. Yeah, kind of pointless to make a Valkyrie that doesn't transform, but this guy has massive thrust to weight ratio. So let's see, we have same kind of arrangement of action groups as the last one. Okay, let's go ahead and give it a fly. I imagine this also has super maneuverability. I imagine that the source craft it's based on has super maneuverability. I don't know, but then again, oh, that's interesting. So you've locked the gimbaling on these ones, on the center engines, but not on the external engines. That's an interesting way to do things. Oh wow, yeah, this thing flies like a rocket with wings, which, to be fair, is what a lot of modern fighters basically are. But, and the afterburners are only on the central engines. Interesting. I'm guessing it would tear itself apart otherwise, because it is overpowered. Oh, come on. Oh, the trigger's disarmed. Yeah, I forgot to arm that. I was going to go ahead and fire a weapon, but it's not actually armed. That would probably help. Let's see, did I hit? Yes, I did. I hit the side of it. Okay, good. I just want to take out the VAB for no good reason. Come on. And fire! Fire. That second one's going to miss entirely. Yep. Sorry, when there's weapons, I gotta fire them. Oh yeah, I wanted to see how this looks from the cockpit. Okay. I was curious how the gun placement would look internally when you fire them. Whoa, whoa. Which button is the button I'm looking for? It's 4. Because you're just going a little too fast for these like low attack runs that I'm doing for no good reason. Oh, shit. Let's not crash. Whoa. And there's one of our missiles that we fired way over there. Yeah, this thing has great maneuverability. One thing I was going to say, I thought of it after I was finished talking about the F-22 that you made. The F-22 doesn't roll very well, at least at low speeds. I'm sure at high speeds it rolls quite well, but geez, I'm surprised I didn't crash into anything just then. But I noticed when I was playing around with it to make a little outro bit that it doesn't roll particularly well while at low speed. But I'm not going to blame you for that, because I think really the only way to get a low speed roll on a craft is using either RCS or reaction wheels, because when you're going at a low speed you simply don't have the momentum to have your flaps, your control surfaces, roll very well. And then the engines, because they're placed so close to the center, they can only orient so much to help with roll. Like this one has a better job rolling because it has those engines like that. Like they're so far out, and they're the ones that have gimbal, that even if you're going super slow with this thing, as long as the engines are cranked up, you can roll super fast. Well, not super fast, but at a decent speed, faster than the F-22 at least. But again, that's just kind of a quirk of how it goes. I imagine the real thing probably would have the same problem. If it was going really slow, it wouldn't roll very quickly. But then again, real life mechanics are a bit different from KSP mechanics, so who knows? Well, the pilots of an F-22 would know. Let's see. Do I have anything else to say about this? I don't think so. It has an air brake. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but oops, I was hitting the wrong button, and now I hit the other wrong button. And let's see how well... I'm flying it without the SAS now. I don't do that very often, but it's I just decided to try it out because I noticed your other craft was pretty stable. Not your other craft. What was it? I don't even remember. I don't even remember the crafts I was just reviewing, but one of them, it was flying really stably, and I was like, oh, let me try this without SAS, so I'm trying that here as well. Also, I remember now that I said I was going to crash things into the water more often with 1.0.5 coming out, but I've kind of forgotten to do that for the most part. I haven't been crashing a lot of crafts that have been sent in, so I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, I guess the trigger's disarmed. I'm going to go ahead and... So we got off one missile before crashing. Let's see what happens if we fire another. Oh, Oh, did we break all of them? We broke all of them. Oh well. Yeah. That thing landed pretty well in the water. Of course, I was going ridiculously slow because KSP physics. But, yeah. I notice you have this here. Oh, it's completely empty. Huh. I was wondering if there's like a hidden rocket on here I hadn't noticed. Well, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. And see you in space.